Hey, what's going on, guys? Ryan here from beachbikes.com again. Today we're going to show you how to swap out the fork. Sometimes there's a need to swap it out, so we'll show you how to do it. It's actually really simple. It requires two tools. An open-ended box wrench, a pretty large one. This one here is going to be 30 millimeters, which is what most of the Urbans are. Sometimes they're 32, sometimes they're 34. If you don't have an open-ended box wrench that large, you can just use a large adjustable wrench, which if you don't have one, you can pick one up pretty much anywhere. The other thing you're going to need is a 6 millimeter Allen wrench. This is what we use for a lot of different parts on the bike. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and take off the handlebars. So the 6 millimeter Allen wrench goes into the adjustment point here. This guy comes out loose, slides right out. Then we're going to use our 30 millimeter box wrench to remove the fork nut, it's called, or the head tube nut, off the top. Once that's off, we want to put it somewhere safe. And then you've got a washer in here. This washer is keyed, and what I mean by that is it's perfectly circular. On the inside here, we have a small sort of dash that keys it to this, and it corresponds to a groove inside the top of the fork. So that allows it to sit in here without spinning freely once it's in. We're going to put that guy to the side for now. And then we've got just a hand adjustable nut here. It's completely circular. You need no tools to get it off. It should already be greased right from the factory, and it'll slide off nice and easily. Once again, we'll pull this off. We'll put it to the side. All of the hard work is done. So we usually use a stand here in the shop, but we're not using one now because obviously at home you probably don't have one. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift this out nice and easy. We're going to lay our fork down. What you're going to notice is on the fork here is a set of bearings. Those bearings you want to keep safe. They'll usually stay right on the fork if you lay it down. And then you've got the exact same bearing in the top. You're going to put those to the side. Now in this case, we're not actually going to swap the fork, we're just going to put the original fork back on. And so when we put that back on, again, we want to make sure that our bearings are lined up, and if you have grease, throw a little grease in there. This guy slides right back on, like so. We take our bearings again. Now the bearings have two different sides. They have a flat side where no bearing is exposed, and they have a rounded side where the bearings are exposed. You want the bearings to be exposed facing down on the top and facing up on the bottom. So put that guy back in there. We're going to put our hand tightening nut back on. And again, if you have a little grease, never hurts to grease this up. None of this stuff is reverse thread. It's all lefty-loosey, righty-tighty to get it apart. And so now what we want to do is get this just to the point that there's no longer any play. We don't want it to be real tight, but when you hold onto the frame and you pull the front wheel or the front fork, you don't want any movement. You want it to be perfectly still. And that's exactly what we have right here. There's no play. So now we're going to take that keyed washer, find where it's supposed to go, drop it down on top, and then we're going to get our fork nut and put it right back down on here. Why we use that washer is because that washer, once we place this fork nut on here, is going to create pressure against our hand nut here. And it's going to make it so that it doesn't move around. Now if you get this too tight, it's not a big deal. You can always go back and loosen it. But you really want to make sure that there's no play and that the handles and the front fork spins freely. So we're going to tighten that down a little bit more. We're going to put our handlebars back in. Tighten it down. And we have successfully replaced our fork. That's it, guys. Thank you very much. And as always, thank you for choosing beachbikes.com.